very good evening to all of you. And on behalf of TCS IN, Sandeep Chabra, lead for customer and program management, welcome you to this session. Just to give an overview for this topic, over the last decade and a half, the falling barriers to international trade and investment has led to more integrated and interdependent framework of international business. Employers today, as a result, operate in an environment that demands new and constantly developing skills to retain global competitiveness. In response, the government has been increasing investment in skilling, training for proportion of national income. However, the effort has been inadequate to address the direct needs of the corporate sector. And finding the right blend of appropriate and quality content with scope of rigorous hands-on and training along with reliable testing and assessment is a challenge. Achieving this with the speed, scale, and sustainability in vocational and skill development space is something we need a conscious and continuous effort. The solution to this challenge lies in this physical model, which we're going to talk more about it later in the call. So what is lacking in our education system and how to bridge this gap between academia and industry, especially with the growing need of new age skills and Industry 4.0. We have with us to deliberate this Mr. Venugopalan K, and it's my pleasure to welcome him as a guest speaker. Just introduction to Venugopal sir. Venugopal sir has been associated with Nettur Technical Training Institute (NTTF) since 1982 and has served in various roles like director and CEO and GM. Presently, he's a member to advisory committee on NTTF. He's been born and brought up in Kerala, graduated in mechanical engineering and a postgraduate graduation in tool engineering. He's been associated with manufacturing sector for last 40 years. And he's also a fellow member of Institution of Engineer and QCFI. He's a Rotarian and a past president of the Rotary Club Territory. He represented India as a technical delegate for 4 world skills competitions spread over 8 years across places like Canada, London, Germany, and Brazil. He has been nominated as honorary member of the World Skill International 2017. So a very warm welcome to you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So over to you, sir. And my first question to you would be, considering the way the skill institutions are run, what are the challenges you see or they face, or the industry? What are the challenges industry are facing? That's the biggest, where the gap lies. So what is your view, sir, on this?
Maybe I should thank you very much, Sandeep, and thank you all the audiences. And I'm very happy to ensure and tell that, a person privileged in vocational skill volunteered to take out vocational skill from the, I would say, 4 doors of the design department of Bosch 45 years back. And I'm having to my experience, most of the Indo-Danish centers and also NTTF being an Indo-Swiss. So the culture of these 2 foreign, I would say, collaborated or assisted institutions I have experienced. Over 40 years, I stick to NTTF because the culture what is existing in NTTF for vocational skill is something different. 60 years back when NTTF started, NTTF was the first institution jumped into vocational skill in India and started a course called tool and die making. Subsequently, it has grown. So right now we are having an association with TCS in running again the digital model of courses run, and most of the courses NTTFs are also collaborated with TCS to run in digital model. So maybe the Corona time we had, I would say the bliss or I would say gratis that we expanded our skill and knowledge in digital style of activities. So that's one plus point I could mention. Maybe having experienced and seen the training institutions in Korea, maybe in Germany, in Singapore, established a training center with assistance of NTTF in Malaysia, and also witnessing the best skill performances in world skill, some sort of, I would say, strength have been achieved, which regretfully will say many a time that's not existing in Indian, I want to say, institutions. I concentrate my talk mainly to the vocational skill, which is ITI level. We have got again at diploma level, and lot of NSDC skills are going on short term and long term, and many players are there in skill, and NCVET also has come up with a new strategy now. So the partners who are dictating training in vocational skills are many. Some sort of, I would not say fight, but some sort of dissimilarities are existing, because even AICT is running now today vocational skills, and they got approved institutions which are running BVOC and DVOC courses, whereas ITI still run with the DGT in these blessings. So I would say, if I just look into the style in which vocational educations are run in this country, the question is, Sandeep was asking, what are the challenges for the institute, for the industry? Industry, like a bridegroom or bride, they have got a lot of demands, whom I want. They have got a slogan, most of the industry, select for attitude, train for skill. This skilling part, when they are coming inside, they will do it, but industries are not doing when they are in the institutions. So a big, I would say, gap is existing, extending the support of an industry to an ITI when they are on the roads. We had industry institute interactive sessions, and now started also. Some 1,396 institution ITIs were brought under a scheme of German assistance. The effectiveness of those schemes, if you look into, again, is a challenge. In our professional life, we will say challenge is something which you are not supposed to project. Any problem is a challenge, face it and cross over it. But an institution, if they are having a challenge, they cannot cross over. They have to live with that, and they will be only blaming. That's what exactly existing in training institutions. The challenges are, I would say, government ITI and private ITI, a big discrimination. Whatever favor come from Canadian aid or German aid or any aid, mostly we are seeing, in my experience, it goes major to government institutions. Private institutions are having a stepmotherly treatment, they are not getting it. And their style of activity, even though audited by DGT, I would say openly, they are closing their eye and adjusting and going. So the way the students, majority of ITS are coming out, the number is too big. You will wonder, 23 lakh of students are there in ITI. I am not telling big figures and other things here. And these 23 lakh of students coming from around 14,900 ITIs. You should assess it, go and see. Only challenges I have seen. I was chairman of one of the PPP model of institutions and government ITI. I seen the challenges there. Some money came, but then distribution of the money and utilization of it, maybe the success story of, I would say, that scheme, maybe government people should tell. So, plenty of challenges. One challenge which I would say is, selection scheme, one I would say is not very placid, or I would say vivid. Infrastructure existing in the institutions are very, very vague. Nothing as per the norms. For that matter, the norms are also vague. If you are supposed to do a welding skill in a private institution, what are the machines needed, what type of machine for the latest style, and also the syllabus, how many exercises a trainee should do, and who will make money available for buying welding rod. I'm just telling an example. 6 rupees needed for a welding rod. And a trainee can, a bright student can do 15 to 20 welding rods for the exercises on a day. And if 50 students are doing welding, who will give money? Yeah? Government fund is there. I would say the principal say, no sir, itna money nahi hai, we are not giving money. Private, 6 people, 7 people stand around and show a welding demonstration. That too in steel. When it comes to aluminum, stainless steel, so just take a skill, and they are coming out telling that welding with high ranks and marks. So challenges, and industry would say they are not good. They are not good, very clear. And they want, so the industry, whether they are ready to, so the cooperation between industry and institutions are not very clear. A clear understanding like a German institute, the dual model of education. It's not existing. Even the apprentices scheme, I don't want to comment. It's not very effective because after ITI they are supposed to go for an apprenticeship scheme. Industries are not welcoming them with both the hands. Arrow Baba, come and do. No, they are many a time just remaining 1 year in the campus, may not be in the relevant area. So gaps are there. This we were talking for years together, to a great extent still existing. Now when the new scheme of NCVET came into picture, new skills started. Basic question is, who is volunteering to take up ITI course? Whether the youngsters are ready to take up skill? No. So new Jamana, they are having a mindset, why should I spoil my hand? Wet it, oil it. So this mindset, how to? I don't know. Engineering, if they are going, you know it. What is the fate of engineers who come out from their institutions today? So this challenge, sitting in this room, I don't have a solution. People know it also. So Sandeep, I would say it's quite big. Challenges are plenty. And maybe subsequently also I'll speak on these challenges very clearly. What are the listed challenges for an ITI? Okay, thank you.
Sir, thank you. You mentioned, 23 lakh student and 14,900 ITIs are there who undergo training every year on year. And definitely, as you said, industry is picking up for their attitude and not the skills, where the skills training is happening with the industry. So I see that's a very big gap where the curriculum or things are not aligned as per the requirements of industry. Though you're saying the money is a problem, infrastructure is a problem, and norms are vague, what you had mentioned. I think so that was the reason why government started with Sector Skill Council to actually reduce this gap between the academia and the industry and come up with standards which are industry aligned. That was the whole idea behind it. But you can tell us whether it's been a success or not, because that was the whole idea of the government, to actually close up that gap which is lying in between the industry, and there's definitely funding coming from the government. Will we call that a success? Been about 8 years that ecosystem is in place to reduce this gap and face whatever the challenges are between academia and industry?
The trend is good. Trend is positive. That's what I would say. Mm-hmm. But we have got our reservation, short-term courses of 3 months, 4 months, 6 months. So the shorter duration for a vocational skill, what skill they can get in short 3 months or 4 months? Whether they can claim as I would say whatever level we are expecting, 3 or 4 level. So that's one observation. Now NCVET has come, they want to have long-term programs and even qualification with seal and signature given. That level when it comes, I also hopefully wait. That might be much better than, so that same sector skill norms and QPs mixed together and made into a qualification and a certificate is given. It might be much better, I would say. So let us see, because the industry backup is there for these SSC aided courses which are going on. Maybe a good trend setting, we'll have to taste and see.
Yeah, I think it's a little too young. The system is young, and it is maturing with time. Yes. And India realizing that it's a center for a lot of people, skilled people, to not only in India requirements are there, but outside India also. So moving on, sir, you have seen the manufacturing industry since decades, and there are some top future skills in manufacturing industry that are in demand, and that a training institute should focus to promote employability among the Indian youth. So what are some of the top future skills you see coming up, and what the institute should promote, sir, according to you?
Specifically to manufacturing skill, right now, everywhere, everybody know it there. We want speed. Any production method, we don't want the lethargic way of somebody standing in front of a conventional lathe or milling machine and producing parts. Even the machining by removing metal itself is vague now. Correct? Because additive manufacturing skill has come to a great extent. It could be even plastics and other parts can be mass produced also if you can afford it, because there is. So the practice of our old styles are to be removed. And we don't want many of the conventional lathe and milling machines, say for example, the shaper and planer are not out. And we want CNC, CNC and CNC. Everywhere it is. Ashok Leyland, if you go and see wherein we have got not less than 800 to 900 youngsters anytime from NTTF under a scheme called Learn and Earn, they are doing everything on CNC, programming it and loading and changing and other thing, etc. The manufacturing style of a new industrial sector has changed. So now whom are you supposed to produce? Is it the conventional lathe and milling machine people? Maybe MSMEs can to a great extent, but we are telling them also, you should change over to CNC. And so one is the fast way of manufacturing, CNC, CNC and CNC. Next one is when the new trend has come, is a challenge, Industry 4.0. When it comes, it is a speedy, automated, I would say, method of manufacturing. And this automation, if comes to a picture, what are the courses needed in ITIs? That which support automation. Automation is maybe pneumatics, hydraulics, control system or PLC control. Then you are supposed to have robot control. So that is a main line. So the ITI should have such courses. Investments are needed. We agree with that. So in manufacturing itself, I am not talking anything on the IT related skill because I am not a stalwart in that, so that itself is a separate line. So if Industry 4.4 is extended, then it comes to machine talk. Then the IT support for that. Predicting the problems of an IT machine by, I would say, interactive way. So that IT section is entirely different. Let it be with the IT and I would say NASCOM group. But then, very clear manufacturing in this area. Maybe those who are interested, I would say, we have got in world skill around 52 skills. Competitions are going on in construction line. In brick line, maybe if it is tiling or concrete work, maybe 1 year program. That's one nice area wherein the youngsters can take up skills related to that and become a contractor or an employee or there are chances for that. Creative arts are coming up in a big way. Creative arts, what I mean here is, if it is, fashion design. And there are many institutions. And that's a challenging job for the youngsters nowadays if you want. Graphic design is an excellent area wherein IT related it is, wherein people are. Jewelry, maybe it's not limited to only the people, the old goldsmiths who are sitting and doing it. It has become a challenging job and anybody can take it if you have got a patience and mindset and volunteer. So there is. Then social and personal field, if you want hotel management, hospitality, how many skills are existing? How many bakeries and other things are coming up? Challenging way for it. So it has become another challenging area. Hotel life itself, hospitality group, boys and girls can join that. There's an excellent skill presently. They can. And it's a proud job also if you want. Transport and logistics. We have even announced a course in logistics by NTTF of late. And transport, I mean automobile. In automobile, you know what are the skills existing. The bodybuilding or engine repair or even I would say the painting part of it is an excellent skill because they are the competition done by world skill in different styles. So a very around 52. I have seen not less than 270 or 280 skills are there in NSDC. And also DG level ITIs. So skills, there is no scarcity. But youngsters should be choosy to take up one of them. So future skill, if you tell, you decide which line we want. Give a chance to the youngsters to see which line you are interested in. If it is graphic, if it is CAD based exposure and improvement, there are plenty of skills available. 52 skills of world skill, I would say, and I would say the modern skills. I have not touched any of the IT related skills here. There are many, not less than 12 to 15 competitions in world skill on IT itself. So that's what I would say. Future skills are plenty, but awareness and I would say counseling needed for the youngsters at SSLC or PU level to give an awareness on this, so that they should come forward, not jumping into next PU, then BA and MBA and if you go to MBA, I used to ask a joking question, whom are you going to manage here? There will be somebody doing work, somebody doing it physically. So that disparity is becoming another. So they will become, salesman and other people, and best MBA, they may be a salesman in. So that is the problem. Okay.
Thank you, sir. So Industry 4.0 is actually the one who is driving force out here with the new technologies coming in, as you said, with speed and to scale up also. But the speed remains the most important factor where you are. And definitely there are challenges from the different field into manufacturing where people are getting, creative arts, what you mentioned as. So moving on to my third question. So what are these upcoming methodology in post-COVID era for, training in a vocational space to minimize gap between demand and supply of the skilled manpower in the country? So what are these a few upcoming methodology or pedagogies which are coming up post-COVID where we are forced to make ourselves, change, and some new normals have come into place? So according to you, sir.
Thank you. Maybe, COVID time, NTTF also experienced a nice challenge that were really utilized by NTTF. We never closed down the training center. All the students were on rolls, and luckily we have got a system of giving laptop to all the students. So naturally they are under our control. Only for the Wi-Fi only they should struggle. Correct? So different areas, group wise or something. So all our classes were going on in a networked way. And if 11 or 12 training centers are having one expert taking class, all the centers the students were attending, each classroom we are having one support staff to take care that they are attending, they are not moving around. Or if they are sitting at home also, there is a caretaker from that center to take care of the students directly or indirectly. And we made it very much network classes. We are having webinars and I would say classes or video supported one. We have got video libraries made. Any lecture made by the trainer, it is recorded and again available to them in their library, e-library. And they are having books, big collection in the library, everything linked to the students, their attendance, their examination and their evaluation, everything in network. And we have got, maybe if doubt comes only, we have got that person who was instrumental for it and supported this activity. One Mr. Shankar, my colleague, is here. Even if specific doubts come, I will ask him to talk to you. So we have done a very nice system of, and when they come to practical, it's only practical. So that all the theory parts are over, 40 to 50% of theory, everything is over. Then when they come to campus, full time, and our style is right from morning 6 o'clock to 12 o'clock or 10 o'clock, I would say, students should be on the workshop. Industry experience shift system. So it should not be that the training center works only from 9 to 5 and send goodbye to the students. So our students are supposed to be in the workshop at 6 o'clock, up to 2 o'clock, 1:30 to 10 o'clock, another shift, and made them to, so the practical one, we never missed anything much. Of course, there are some missing because 1.5 years away from the workshop, but then we made it up. That means if mind is there, possible to make it up. Correct? So this is one learning we got, and the system of digitized, system-oriented, integrated, focused training program, we have done it. And it is possible to a great extent in all other institutions provided. Maybe they are having classroom set up with this. They are having digital, I would say, smart classrooms and facilities. They have got the network with the system and the trained trainers also. Trained trainer, that's the main thing. So that the trainer himself is not, I would say, confident in handling the sessions and evaluating. And so there's another challenge which we learned. And we had a lot of sessions. If it is coming to electronics or I would say mechatronics, we have got digitized experiments done. We have got animated experiments done by them. So we are having that way also online, sitting at home. They were doing it to a great extent. It is nothing left but the digital. And the digital way of conducting classes, and NTTF did. I would not say it is 100% perfect as it were earlier, but to a great extent it has made up. Like a university, we never made one semester marks, you make it 0. We never did it. Even for that semester also they attended theory classes, practical classes, then only we gave the. So that's the lesson what we learned, which is, I would say, symbolic for many of the institutions in this country also.
So I was just reading a question from Udipan Nath from Peerless Skills Academy, Kolkata. His question is also similar, is how and what technologies to be used delivering target audience appropriate development of communication in TVT space. So he's saying the development of communication includes strategic communication, advice, and tools that are needed to develop and implement successful development of projects. So that was his question. So what are the and how and what technologies to be used for delivering target audience and development of communication for TVT systems?
What we did in NTTF, can I ask my colleague Mr. Shankar to join me and support for 1 minute? Shankar is a Lieutenant Colonel retired. He is the faculty development, the IT system controlling man in NTTF.
In the communication here, actually, we can look at it multiple ways of communication. One is, of course, the verbal communication. More than verbal communication, you have the communication in the sense, what is in my mind to be transferred to someone else. It not necessarily has to be language oriented, or it not necessarily has to be verbal. It can be in the form of a written, and in fact, I feel more importantly, more than the written one, it can be in the form of a diagram, flow chart. It can be any of those kind of tools which can be used for this communication today. Not necessarily that I have to be sitting one-to-one in front to talk and communicate in today's world. The system that we have is, we have got, like what Venugopal sir said, all our students have got a laptop or a tab, and we have gone into a LMS, learning management system. This learning management system is quite flexible in multiple ways. One is the content as well as the interaction with the staff, with the students. The staff can query, the students can query the staff on particular aspect. A staff can communicate with the student. It can be even live communication, it can be recorded, it can be even the text-based or even diagram or any of those kind of a communication, which they can carry out to the student at any point in time. This is how we are implemented in NTTF.
It's developed by NTTF, maintained by NTTF, and we are also having support from agencies wherein we are paying money for it.
What are the development and challenges and an infrastructure requirement in area of training of trainers?
I feel we are having a question again on the challenges which the industry institutions are facing. Naturally, one of
especially for training of the trainers.
So there are other issues also coming. So the training of trainer is, I would say one example what NTTF is doing. We select every 6 months 30 to 50 graduate engineers as trainer. The way we are expanding, we can't get ready-made trainers for NTTF style of activity from open market. So we have got 1.5 year training program for them exclusively by paying money to them. And what the trainees are supposed to do, all these staff members should learn and do. Theory as well as practical. And it has been made as a postgraduate diploma program by NTTF. This is extendable to anybody if you want. We can have tailor-made program made also. So we created the trainers by ourselves. We are also having outflow of staff 12 to 13% from NTTF because there are industries to pick them and take up for better jobs. Nothing wrong. We never regret. So we have got our own style, one. And any of the fields what we are having, we have got NTTF trained people who with industrial experience working. The faculties of NTTF, you just see, they have got an industrial experience already. So fresh from the college, without a training or with industrial experience, they are the trainers. So if ITI may not be able to do it, I would say they should have a selection process and intensive training. Karnataka has seen there are 2 training establishments wherein they are having training program, but then it is more of pedagogy type, not the practical type. That's what I observed. They should be holding up their shirt, hand, work on the machine. And that exposure should be given to the staff members. Then they should teach, whether it is electronics, mechatronics, or I would say even IT field. So this is the challenge, this should be done. Now, NSTI, Government of India is having national skill training institutes. 23 of them are existing. And they have declared short-term and long-term programs. What I observe is there are no takers. There are no takers for the courses, and well-established all facilities are existing. They announce a course, private ITIs. I will concentrate on ITI, not for engineering college staff now. It's a different masala by itself. So these takers are not there, more so from the private, even from the government. They are sponsoring them. The staff members are not going, is the history. So 23 institutions, if you let's to NSTI, National Skill Training Institutes, you will see the varied courses available wherein you need not invest but existing, and the facilities are fairly good. So trainers investment should be done to train them, and they should be made to work on whatever they are supposed to teach to the students tomorrow. That's how the trainers can be developed.
This question is, how should the institute upgrade their system with reference to the technology and the course to promote efficiency in learning? So how do you suggest they should upgrade themselves? I know you said there are challenges like money and resources which are like trainers and all, but under your guidance, what you should suggest any of your institutes or these skill institutes? Apart from what do you think, how they can overcome these challenges, sir? I know there will be these challenges everywhere.
Training institutions are supposed to have an ISO standard 21001, specifically meant for training institutions. ISO 9000 we are hearing, 14001 we are hearing it, exclusively for training establishment. From their propagation, commitment, conducting, evaluation, there is a standard. Now, somebody in this country should insist that all the training institutions should be having ISO 20,000, 21,001. Then everybody will say, what is that we are going to teach? How are we doing it? How we will do the evaluation? There will be a record for everything. Anybody can come and inspect the record and say we are good or bad. Until and unless this challenge exists in an institution, they can't do anything. Once in a year, somebody will come for an inspection. They know how to manage them. To be very frank, sorry to tell, I am not telling, treating way to anybody, sorry to. But then, if there are recorded way of conducting the training as per the norm declared by them, and these records will speak whether they are doing it. A trainee is supposed to do 7 exercises in CNC milling. Every trainee, whether they have done it, whether they have been evaluated, then whether in the ranking of them. Whereas, if CNC training is one exercise throughout the life and send off it, then what are we doing here? So this is very clear. Have a standard fixed. Next, while selecting and bringing the students inside, we have got a 14 days of induction program in NTTF. That induction is nothing technical there. From the behavioral science, from the communication skill, from the English speaking area, from the community living, together all put together, including the human relation principle, we have got an induction program. And we used to challenge and tell the students, Baba, if you are getting suffocated, you can get out from here. Correct? We are not seeing many moving out from then only they are put to. So this induction is very clear wherein they'll have the discipline of coming on time, behaving in the right way, have the mannerism. They are all injected into them. Many of them will get adjusted to it. So now industry expects disciplined way of people. Can they come late? The staff is coming late, then students also can come late. So very clear, that particular one from the orientation, next infrastructure as declared by DGT, whether all the centers are having the latest machinery, equipment. So, and if there are machines for namesake, they are not maintained, they are not working condition. I would say same again, the running expenses, whether budget is there. If you want some figures to be quoted from NTTF, we have got our record from our finance department, 3,000 rupees per month per trainee is our expense for a tool and die making and digital manufacturing course per training, right, from the raw material too. So 3,000 is the expense, and IITians, they made a study and created a book, Start Off. And they told very clearly, these are the expenses connected with running. So there is no fund for infra, ISO system is not there. Coming back to staff, I am repeating same thing. Trained staff are not there. You know, temp workforce, TEMP, temp workforce are there in the training institutions. They're not a permanent staff. So they will say that, it is guest faculty. What do you mean by guest faculty in a training institute? Maybe English, maths and science and allied subjects, you can have a guest faculty. But core subjects, you are supposed to have staff. So that's one. Evaluation part of it. Continuous evaluation should be not that one exam is conducted, one theory and practical marks are given pass. No. Every week there should be an evaluation. Every month there should be. That cumulative should form at least 70% of marks for the student. Final exam should be only 30%. There is a style needed. So now, all these put together, that's what is needed in a training center. That's what foreign institutions are having. Singapore institutions are supporting India by taking a lot of money from India, telling that we will tell you how it should be done. Is it that we don't know? But the thing is, something big gap. So, create infra, create staff, create ISO system, create evaluation continuously. All these put together will be heaven, yeah.
So, coming to my last question, sir. How fruitful are these assessments in vocational education space where you spoke about evaluation, and what changes can be brought in for churning out well-learned, well-skilled forces for the industry?
No, there are two parts for this evaluation. One is the theory contents part of it and what we are doing so far, even online or offline, correct? With the subjective and objective type of questions, what is being asked. We don't have much to comment on that because if it can come to an open book question and other things, it's a dream. If it comes up, nice, that's okay, no problem, and it's okay. But the theory part in a vocational skill is hardly 30 to 40%. Remaining come from the practical part. So my concentration will be how the practical work of an individual should be evaluated. Now, there are different types of systems in Swiss style or German style, or I would say Indian style by itself. Lot of things are being done, but then if we are having, maybe I'm tempted to tell that we are having a world skill standard available for evaluation. Why not we follow it and make it standard for the nation? World skill evaluation, if there is a welding skill, I would say they might be having not less than 130 to 140 of aspects, and each aspect will be having 0.5 marks, 0.75 marks, like that. So the 100 marks will be divided into so many aspects, and that aspects are part of, I would say, a sub criteria, and the sub criteria many put together is mainly the criterions of an object. Say for example, the shirt, if I want to evaluate, I'll have shirt as a product and I'll be having so many aspects for that. One is the shirt hand part of it, collar part of it, button part of it, finish part of it, dimension part of it. Likewise, these aspects you divide into sub aspects. Each aspect you give sub criteria. Each criteria you give, say for example the shirt, the button position is an aspect. Width of it here and there is another aspect. The stitching part of it, how many stitches per inch is an aspect. Likewise, you see the uniformity of both the hands is another aspect. Now, if you have got in, marking of a skill done by an individual, this aspect, sub-criteria and criteria. So, collar is one criteria, hand is another criteria, body dimension is another criteria, buttons and positioning is another criteria. So, now, I would say, divide the skill evaluation into minor so that there is no chance of doing an error. Looking at the shirt, I will say, okay, 10 out of 10. You can't say unless you. So, a system of this nature should come to evaluation of all vocational skills. When? I don't know. But it is existing and being practiced by India skills very much. And that's the style already accepted for India skill competitions. Adopt that, make it into, because that's the latest, and the marks are even divided into subjective marks and I would say judgmental marks. No, they will not say that, So objective, subjective. Objective marks and subjective marks are very clear and they have got the norm set. If that is done, I would say even a carpenter joint made by a trainee, evaluation will be very transparent. Such a system should come is a dream. So, if having seen that style, I don't have any other better style to tell to the audience also. Follow World Skill Standard norm of evaluation. If education is needed, in India we have got many experts under SSCs. 50 skills, India also is participating in World Skill. There are experts for every skill. Each region, they might be able to educate the staff member and let it be a notion. I would say a slogan, let it be practice. So I will not say any other alternative because the best is seen in India. So practice is my solution. Evaluation or this. Sandeep.
Thank you, sir. We have one question. This is in international scenario, skills are quite valued, especially with reference to the remuneration or the money they get. What are the best practices they should follow to skill? You can get a job, I think so. That's what the question meant in international market. Because India is going to be a big supplier.
Big supplier, and there is a big scarcity also skilled people in all the developed countries. Mm-hmm. They don't have youth to take up vocational skills at all. Mm-hmm. In Germany, further education and even job, if you are a qualified, skilled man, there are ways of moving out. In NTTF, I would say, I don't know how so many number of people just went away to Singapore, Malaysia, from there to Australia, Canada, and I don't know the skill what they are possessing. There are people to evaluate it. And that evaluation depends upon how it is being done in the training institutions. So, to get foreign jobs, I would say, have a skill in its perfection to a great extent. 80% satisfied where perfection is existing. A good welder, even today, the demand you know it. But it should be a good welder. The test piece made by them should be tested for 80 kilogram per centimeter squared pressure and no leak should happen. Such welding, how many youngsters can make in this country at a young age of 15 to 20? So if there are credibilities existing, there are jobs that side, I would say. And people are moving out also. So, whom to blame, I don't know. Whether the institution or...
No, I think so. Imbibing the world skills assessment sets, which you said, will actually take them to the next level. What are the requirements?
Yeah, very much, very much.
Yeah, and making sure that people who are passing out and they are valued for their skills, when they pass out with that kind of a certification, I think so that is what will be more valued internationally, and I think so they will get the right set of salaries or things that they need to get for their skills, because I think so Indians are undervalued outside in countries, except for a few skills. The rest are very undervalued people, especially the laborers going out from here. But coming to the end of this, very engaging webinar which was there, and I would like to thank you, Venugopal sir, for sharing your opinion with us. Also, Sankar sir, who joined us and shared his, observation and experience. So, thank you to both of you, sir. It's been a great evening and for learning and, especially in the skilling for manufacturing space. So,
thank you, Sandeep. If at all, I'm not having any mental intention to annoy anybody in this discussion.
No, not at all, sir. Not at all.
Your government or something.
No.
From the session I told it.
Not. Okay. No. With your experience, sir, we are here to learn. You've seen how the technology has changed over the years and how, the industry has changed. And you've been a part of academia and both sides. So I think so. You've seen both of it, and being with the international, international world skills is also, brought out what is best required outside our country. I think so. Some of the points are hitting points, yes, but that is the challenges which are there. And I think so we all have to come together and look at these challenges and how do we overcome these challenges. Though we have started in that way, the government and everybody has started, and they have seen there is definitely a lot of requirement in upgrading our skilling institutes and skilling standards which are there, and government has working towards it along with industry. I think so we still have a lot of miles to walk, I must say. But thank you everyone for being part of this.
Thank you.
Today.
Thank you, TCS.
And it's a very big thank you, sir, to you